Catch a Vibe with Big Hass, only on Pulse 95.
And we are going to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, peace, love and blessings, and welcome to another episode of Catch a Vibe with me, Big Hass. Catch a Vibe airs every Saturday and Sunday right here on Pulse 95 Radio. Catch a Vibe is Pulse's first and only music dedicated radio show. In it, we humanize the artist, the music enthusiast, the singers, the songwriters. We get to know them more on a human level, and it's been an amazing journey so far, over 80 plus episodes so far. I want to shout out to all the producers, all the songwriters, the singers. Shout out to all of you guys. It's been amazing. Now, what's also amazing is I want to shout out the Sharjah Art Foundation for the amazing work. On Yalla Home and Catch a Vibe, I always talk about the amount of work that they do and how important and how pivotal their work is. Now, I got to know about this amazing event obviously happening, and it's a performance of Nuzhat al-Nufus, Promenade of the Souls by Nancy Mounir. And that led me to kind of search more Nancy Mounir and understand more. Incredible human being and artist, really a multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger. Nancy Mounir is, in my opinion, is a key member of Egyptian or Egypt's independence music scene, in my opinion. She plays a range of instruments, mashallah, including, I hope I get it right, piano, violin, the bass as well, and the traditional Egyptian bamboo flute, which is what's it called? Kawal. But what's amazing about Catch a Vibe, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to sit down now for the next 45 minutes or so and get inside, obviously, Nancy Mounir's mind and understand why did she do the things that she did, why she, produced this, why, just to get to know her on a human level. So I'm super honored, from Iskandariya to the world, the incredible Nancy Mounir. We're going to say Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good to have you right here. Thank you so much for being on. Nancy, I guess the first question I really got to ask you is, what's the story with music and you? How do you get into the world of music? Was it knocked on your door, or you knocked on its door? How did that relationship start?
I was lucky because my brother is also a musician, and my father really, really wanted to be a musician, and my father and my mother, they still are both in the church choir.
Okay.
And then we have the church, we have a piano, and we have a singing group, and then also we had Christmas and Easter, and my father is tenor and my mother is alto, and
wow.
They learned their parts on separate tapes. So my father would learn his parts in the car, so you can just listen to a very weird singing that is like the harmony, basically, of the tenor, and then my mom in the kitchen would listen to her tape, which is the alto, which is a different the same song, but a different layer with a different melody. So, and the main thing would be the soprano is obvious. So you know that already. So this is how I learned.
That's crazy. And
a lot about the harmony.
Was the house always like that? That's how you got into music, generally? Would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, also at church we have a theater group, we have a singing and worship group, so we have instruments and all of that. And also I was lucky because my brother is also a very amazing musician. He's a genius. He was learning the Moonlight Sonata from a cartoon, Al-Muhakkik Conan, when we were kids.
Conan, yeah, wow.
When we were kids, so there was an episode that had the Moonlight Sonata, and I remember we would record these things on VHS, and then he would try to find the piece, and then he would play it by ear.
Wow.
And then we had to go to the shop and find the tape of the Moonlight Sonata,
Allah.
so he can have the piece, and he played the whole thing by ear as well.
That's crazy.
So I was also very lucky as a child to have such an amazing brother, and then we would jam and do weird experiments together. I remember our first kind of recording attempts on the double tapes, cassettes, and we would flip the tricycle and use it as a drum kit and do some layering and stuff like that. So
that's crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, if you can see her, she has this smile on her face, there's very obviously passionate and loving this. But I kind of want to dig deep into that. Do you remember when did you fall in love with it? Like, okay, you were surrounded by it, you had amazing family, the influences are there, but was it always love like that from the beginning, or was there something certain that happened that made you, oh, okay, you know, I want to become an artist?
I think my father is a good collector and good music listener. And I think he really, really wanted to be a musician, but his parents, of course, they asked him to become, like, to have a real job, engineer, of course. But I think he also has this passion.
Inshallah.
And I think because there is music at home all the time, so when you grow up with a lot of nice music as well, it's nice.
It makes it. I mean, so far we're still really scratching the surface, and it's incredible. I definitely want to talk about your debut album, Nuzhat al-Nufus, up next. But when it comes to music nowadays, and I know it's like we just chatted, but you're very, very passionate, very knowledgeable about music. The way the masses listening to music is different, obviously, with the social media, with the streaming. I had a friend of mine, imagine this, Nancy. A friend of mine, he said, I'm going to create a 30-second jingle, and if it did well, I will create a song. I'm like, bro, you got the whole thing backwards. Like, it doesn't, like, mush fahem, it doesn't make sense. Does that in any way, shape, or form bother you, or like, you think about it?
Yeah, but I'm kind of selfish. I don't think I'm very passionate. I think I really care about pleasure so much, and we were just talking about Taurus energy outside before coming here.
We're Taurus energy in the building right here. We got Sharjah Art Foundation, Hassan Najeri, and I'm a Taurus. That's just a Taurus.
Yeah, and Mounir al-Mahdiya is a Taurus as well.
Wow.
And this is also a different thing that happened. But let's talk about this later. And her Taurus energy. Sarah Minyawi is gonna kill me.
It's okay.
But for me, it's about pleasure, and it's about finding pleasure.
Interesting.
And I think when artists and the industry and all of this, they think about what's going to sell or what's gonna be. Yeah.
When you're doing things for people, this is something, by the way, that's going on right now. There's this whole big beef, by the way, going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, right? Two big rappers or two big artists in the industry. This is something that Kendrick Lamar is addressing to Drake, who's selling, a lot. And he's talked about exactly that point. That
I don't know them, but it's interesting.
But two of the biggest artists, like in terms of, selling point. But they talked, Kendrick Lamar talked about that specific thing. And it's very interesting that you say that. But I mean, You talked about passion now. Interesting that you used the word passion.
I would say
pleasure.
I'm selfish.
And pleasure, sorry.
Yeah.
What? So that is interesting. I've had so many interviews. That is like maybe one of the only time I hear that. So can we talk more about that? Like, what? You're obviously happy when you're performing. Is that the reason why? Not
necessarily when I'm performing. I get stressed a bit about it. But no, I mean, it's... Yeah, and during rehearsals, but in the performance, I need to like create everything, so I'm so immersed and.
Yes.
But
that's really interesting. So again, the word is use pleasure.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because I think a lot of people get lost, and they just want to do things that sell so that they can make the income and move forward, and that's it, and they lose themselves.
It's a valid decision also. It's not there's nothing wrong with it, but if I think the problem is when artists are trying to do everything at the same time, like I want to make good music, I want to be very happy, and I want to make a lot of money. And like having all of these things together, I think is a bit difficult.
Did you struggle with that or no?
I made my decisions also when I was very young. I'm looking for like my own pleasure, to follow my own curiosity also. Man, in terms of research.
That deserves a big
like
round of applause.
Thank you.
Okay, man. Yo, that was like great 9 minutes in the beginning. Okay, so I have Nuzhat al-Nufus. I want to talk more about that up next, but I want to play one record from Nuzhat al-Nufus, right? Which song would it be? Just for people to.
You guys choose.
I'll choose. I'm check with. Like the thing is, there's so. Okay, I'll give you two. You choose one of them. Is that okay? Okay. Two of my favorite was. I really like أنا بس سكتالك and بعد العشاء. Both of them I really connected with a lot. Which one would you choose?
بعد العشاء is a nice entry point because Munira, of course, she's like the queen. سلطانة الطرب.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think? Okay?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is incredible. I'm with Nancy Mounir, just really getting to know her right now. Let's play بعد العشاء, and we're going to be right back. Keep it locked right here, Pulse 95 Radio. Catch a vibe.
Catch a vibe with Big Hass. Only on Pulse. Pulse 95. Pulse.
And ladies and gentlemen, we just heard بعد العشاء, of course. بعد العشاء, of course, part of the a song from the album Nancy Mounir did, which is her debut album, actually. And Nusrat al-Nufus is really, really, like, just remarkable. Nancy, I want to shout you out for this beautiful project. It's incredible. Can you tell me about how did the idea first start? Like, when did you start dabbling with the idea, and how did it, come across? Like, how did it come across to your mind?
I don't think it came across my mind. I think
Okay.
it was, we were in a workshop
Okay.
with Camelia Gubron.
Okay.
There was also Mariam Saleh and
Yes.
Nina Al-Wadidi and Nada Shazli. We were all in this workshop. And my work what I like to do is to arrange music. So this is why I loved collaborating with Nina Al-Wadidi and other bands and singers. And I thought I had a good ear until I went to this workshop and Camelia played for us a very, very old recording of Said Darwish's mentor. And
Said Darwish's mentor.
yeah. And then he was from Iraq, I think. And I heard that the melody was so different from everything else I've ever heard. The microtonality of it was insane. And then I was trying to follow the melody, and then I remember she stopped at the middle and she was like, keep going. And I was like, oh, it's not in my system. And then in my childhood, I was thinking so much about harmony and all of this, and I used to think that Arabic music is very thin, and especially with what we're offered as mainstream
or being spoon-fed,
classical is not what I liked at all. Until I heard that thing, and then I went back home to research about everything that was happening before the 1932 Congress of Standardization of the Tuning System in the whole region. So I was very curious, and the first couple of years I had no idea that this was a project. I quit my job.
Oof.
And I stayed home for 2 months. The first 2 months, I didn't really leave my flat, and I was just obsessively listening.
Crazy.
And playing along. And then when I started playing with it, I felt like, okay, something weird happened. And I got so emotional, and the songs are really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I had some anger because I didn't know these singers before, and I was very angry. It's like someone hiding your family photo albums, from you or something like that. So I started digging as much as I could, and then 2 years later, a friend of mine, she said, Habibti, you quit everything and you're just doing this, and I think that this is a project. I was like, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
After 2 years.
That's the truth.
And then, and I recorded most of the record in my living room studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I had a lot of time to play with it and to edit myself and to try things. And sometimes things would feel like, like this song needs to go in this direction or that direction. And I was just a listener and just interacting with it.
That's crazy. You obviously, dropped this album back in 2022 or something, right? When you were talking right now, do you remember how you were while you were digging? Like, take me through that emotional...
We're talking about 6 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. So the first couple of years, I didn't know it was a project. And the last couple of years, I just was trying to find the right person to mix it, to mix the record.
Okay.
And
Which just for people who are listening might not be, how challenging is that?
I mean, in general, working with archival material is kind of challenging, but it's different with every project.
Facts.
But for example, 2 years trying with different amazing sound engineers and failing to mix this record because they were thinking, okay, maybe we should make the old songs much clean so it fits with the overdubs that you did. Or maybe we can make the new recordings a bit messy so it fits. And then I was like, no, it doesn't. So also going through these failed mixing attempts,
experiences,
it made me really understand more about the project and that it's not about new and old, and it's
nice,
and that time is not necessarily linear and all of these things. And about the emotionality of the research, it was crazy because for example, like Mounir al-Mahdiya, of course, she has this very strong Taurus energy, and she had a cat, and my cat loves Mounira's voice, and my cat is also a Taurus, Tum Tum.
Shout out Tum Tum. Okay.
Tum Tum, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, بالمديرة في الstudio. So yeah, this amazing Taurus energy. She had a very strong personality, and she didn't learn anything in school, which is basically like me. I wasn't classically trained or any of that. I was just lucky to have amazing mentors like Camelia Gobron and Fathi Salema and others.
Wow.
But Mounir al-Mahdiya also, in her interviews, I could relate to a lot of things. And even in Ba'd al-Aisha, I could relate to that state of denial after breakups.
Yeah.
It's a very Taurus thing. And it was like a love song, like, and I'm crying and feeling emotional from what her voice is carrying in terms of emotions. Because getting back to the music industry, she's not performing in a way that is part of the industry, entertainer,
yeah.
all of that. She's really honest and genuine. And
that's crazy what you said. Wallahi, I swear to God, this is incredible. Everything that you said right now. I want to go back to something that you said that captured my attention. You said something along the lines about you felt someone was hiding something from you.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And you felt the emotion was anger. I really wish more people feel that way. I think right now we're okay with everything. There's no questioning. There's no curiosity. There's no debating. If you criticize something, you're a hater. You know what I mean? Like it's just not enough of that conversation. It's crazy that you obviously. Do you think that it's because of how you were raised up that you were like, you have all these things? You think like that?
I don't know. I also have really nice friends, musicians. So also when we talk about, like when we listen to each other's work during the process, we have a way of not criticizing, but it's imagine as if I'm cooking.
Debating, talking about it.
Not really debating, but you're making your song. Like, for example, my very, very good friend Yusra Al-Hawari, one of my best friends, and she's now working on her next album. And when I go and listen to her like early guides and stuff like that, it's like entering the kitchen while someone is cooking, and like maybe I can have more cinnamon. Well, how about you put a bit more cinnamon in that? But of course, like or like smelling someone cooking already, or something like this. And I think it's very important also because if I'm working on a project for 6 years, I need people to listen during the process of the making, not necessarily after.
Interesting.
And what I really need from my friends is usually like criticism also, because if somebody says like bravo at the end,
all the time,
what do I do with that?
Thank you.
Like what? Like it doesn't.
No, but I was going to say that
it doesn't
now,
have a value.
100%. For me, we are in an era where if you don't say that, if you don't say bravo, you're a hater.
this bravo يعني اشتري بيها ايه يعني what do I do with it?
You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Everything that you've said so far in the past 20 minutes shows me that. So the question that I feel like it's screaming out of my chest is, why aren't people like artists like you amplified? In my opinion, like this artist, this thinking, this is the thinking that needs to be amplified and pushed and like supported.
Yeah,
in a
but
crazy way.
maybe if I become amplified and then I become part of the industry and
No,
then
that's what I'm
have
saying.
that kind of pressure of like I need to make a record every year, you need to make a hit and like.
But do you think you'll fall into that? Like knowing yourself?
I will not like. I will definitely not work without having my own pleasure in the process.
See?
No matter what it is, I need to be motivated and I need to be immersed and I need to be interested and I need to be curious. And
Thank you. So this is like
obsessed, I would say obsessed.
Where's my round of applause right here? We have a round of applause. No, but everything that you said, I know that you're saying it from good heart and good energy, but believe me, 90% of the people I know, they don't see that.
معلش خلاص يعني.
I know it's their experiences. I know, I get it. But you imagine the experience that they would have if they think like that. Because now they're thinking, I just want to satisfy the powers that may be. I want to sell. I want to get signed. This is the thinking. And they don't even, most of them are not even pushing what they like. You know what I mean, right? Like it's a big discussion. And having a first time I meet you, obviously today, having this, I feel this vibe about you. Like you mentioned words like anger, pleasure. These are like, I think, important for a musician, for a creative to feel. And no, these are taken out right now. These specifically two words. I'm just bless. Before we actually hear a song for you and Dina Al-Wadadi and Maryam Saleh, I kind of wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts, quickly, what are your thoughts on the music scene right now in Egypt? What are your thoughts about it? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when someone says موسيقى في مصر or Egypt
موسيقى
music?
في مصر.
Yeah.
It's many different worlds. It's not
صح.
one world.
Yeah.
So you have
صح.
you have a lot of things that are so different. Like, for example, I don't know if you know Abu Sahar, for example,
Yes.
from Al-Minya.
Yeah.
He plays on his
Yes,
computer
yes,
keyboard
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Insane.
Very insane. And also you have people like Maurice Loua and Maryam Saleh and Dina Al-Wadadi and all of these amazing musicians. And you have Fathi Salama also from
Fathi Salama.
Yeah, and you have also a lot of bands. Masar Igberi, I played with them. They're from Iskandariya as well.
Iskandariya. We're going to talk about Iskandariya up next, but this is
But you have also a lot of electronic music
Yes.
happening, a lot of singers-songwriters,
Yes.
a lot of producers.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of jamming sessions that happen also informally, not to the public, and also like small things and
Insane.
small events.
I say this, I'm more into the hip-hop side of things, and I've seen how Egypt played a big role in pushing Arabic hip-hop with the producers finding the sound between a sha'bi and hip-hop and trap and all that. But obviously, like you said,
Who's your favorite?
Wallahi, there's a lot. I think Pablo is crazy. Like for me, Marwan Pablo is but in terms of writing, it's a guy called Shaheen.
Oh, he's from Iskandariya.
Yes, Iskandariya. So Shaheen for me represents this. Shaheen for me because he's been one of the pioneers of Egyptian hip hop.
We were all
relevant.
in the same film, Microphone by Ahmad Abdullah.
Oh
that
my
very
God.
old film. That's how I met Shaheen.
Ya Allah, Microphone. صح.
Yeah.
I just put the two and two together. That's crazy. That's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, you remember that the girls band and the man. I was one of them.
Yo, this is crazy. Oh my God. Ya Allah. This is crazy. Subhanallah. Okay. We're going to take a short break right now, but I want to play Al-Urs.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the song a little bit? It's obviously Dina Al-Wadadi, Maryam Saleh and you. Just tell me a little bit about it.
What I remember is that we had BBMs back then.
BBMs.
The BlackBerry thing and voice notes.
Yeah.
And Maryam and Dina, like Dina we were already playing together, and Dina and Maryam very good friends, and then.
And you did the musical arrangement for this one, I guess, right?
I did the arrangement, yes, and I played the guitar and the flute and the violin, and it was a very interesting phase in our lives. We were much younger, and
bless you. No, that's amazing. We want to hear the full version right now, but I mean, we can start to hear it right now. But if someone would ask you, Nancy, what's the difference between the music back then when you made it and now?
The only consistent thing is that also the people I love, like Dina and Mariam, they are so connected to the Egyptian music, and they have also a lot of fitra, they're both amazing composers as well when it comes to their songs.
I love that.
And I think also they're very, very genuine. They think about, they don't think, they just do what they feel, and I'm so blessed to work with them.
Wow.
And,
We're blessed to have you. Let's take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear, of course, Al-Urs Dina Al-Widadi, Mariam Saleh, and Nancy Mounir, a beautiful record that I cannot believe we're playing on the radio right now in the UAE. We're going to be right back with Nancy Mounir right here on Pulse 95.
Catch a vibe with Big Hass, only on Pulse 95.
Catch a vibe, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Pulse 95 Radio. Big Hass with you guys every Saturday and Sunday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tonight's guest is a special one, Nancy Mounir from Egypt, Min Iskandariya, violin player, producer, arranger, musician, just an amazing human being. And so far, this is the first time we meet, and it's incredible the way. Shout out to music for connecting us, like crazy. Shout out to the Sharjah Art Foundation. She's here in the UAE for that collaboration and that performance, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But I want to talk to Nancy about dreams and challenges. But before that, I got to ask you, when I say Iskandariya, what does that ring? Because it's insane. The amount of talent that comes from Iskandariya is phenomenal. So I know Iskandariya is home. But when someone says to you Iskandariya, what's the first thing that comes to your mind other than that?
I personally have a complicated relationship with the city.
Is that a love and hate relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I moved to Cairo like 16 years ago.
Bless. Okay.
I think in Alexandria, everybody's so chill and people dream a lot, but then it's slow, raweh, and all of this.
That's the thing.
But Cairo is so different. In Cairo, a lot is happening, and I think this is what all musicians wanted to be in, like meet new people and do a lot of collaborations and a lot of events. And
no, I hear you, but so many of the musicians that I know, like personally, whether it's Marwan Pablo, whether it's Afroto, or whether it's there's so many people. Isn't Shaheen from Iskandariya as well?
Shaheen from Wigs also is
Wigs from Iskandariya, right? Like it's crazy. What for people who don't know, what's the main difference between Iskandariya and Cairo? Is it what you said about the chilled?
It's the sea.
Okay.
We have the sea in Alexandria. And actually now my relationship is changing with Cairo because I go rowing in the Nile.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's cool.
It's a cool thing to do. But yeah, the sea, of course, it's a Mediterranean city. And
yeah, I think that could be like that's definitely a big. But what the creative energy and the creative, the vibe.
It was
itself.
the capital also during the historically it was the capital also of knowledge, and the big library that was burnt, and then we tried to rebuild the library that is now also a nice, very beautiful venue, and just the library to hang out in it, and the museums in it, and it's so nice.
Shout out to Iskandariya. Ahsan nas. When we talk about Nancy Mounir and talk about challenges that you faced in your musical career, what I know maybe you faced a lot of challenges, but what's a challenge we can highlight now and talk about it?
Okay, so I like challenges because I get bored very easily.
Bless.
So
that's a Taurus thing. That's why I connect with that.
Yeah. So for example, a few years ago, I was also getting bored, even if I'm playing with amazing artists and everything. But I was getting bored, and that's why I started collaborating with Layla Sleiman, who's an amazing theater director.
Wow.
And then we started doing. I was not interested at the beginning of this collaboration, but because she's a director, so she can see it from the beginning of like, no, I want you to make music for my play.
Wow.
And then I was like, no, but I want to be an arranger. And then it was like this challenge that, like, I don't know, it was interesting for me to try different, a different thing. It's still the same thing. I'm still making music, but within theater. And
so throughout your life, you don't call them challenges. Like you haven't been challenged in a way.
I have a lot of challenges. Like for example, for this concert, I was a bit nervous because the record I recorded everything at home, and I was the only musician, and I have my special connection with the songs. But today, people listening to the songs for the first time, and trying to play along with it, that was a challenge today.
That is a challenge.
But it's a nice challenge to have, because then we take our time and we.
But see, so far, subhanAllah, with you, Nancy, like I think it's the way. And shout out to the family, your parents, the way they raised you. It feels like you're on ground. And I love that. Like you are connected. And when I say that, I don't know if you get what I mean, but there's so many people that they're not. And it's a breath of fresh air just to hear that. And I know I'm sounding like, for me, I'm so passionate because I haven't heard that in a while. I've interviewed a lot of people, seen a lot of people. And that element is missing. Whatever I'm feeling right now is not there. It's just on the interface is big. They want to do this. They want to. But there's no essence. That's the word. There's no essence.
Yeah, but there is other things in return. For example, some people, they care about exposure. Some people care about their songs being heard.
Yeah.
I don't.
At all?
At the very beginning, no.
That's crazy. For me, that's refreshing.
I'm just admitting for the first time how selfish I am. No, I really try to seek my own pleasure.
Yeah.
And
Look, I mean, I think I remember.
It's not a good decision all the time. I mean, it's not really sustainable. I just trained myself to. I mean, I have this very horrible habit of buying a lot of expensive instruments. However, I don't make my decisions according to finances. So it's a choice. It's a choice.
That word that she said right here, that statement, I'm going to take that and sample it. Like that, you know, believe me, this is where I think we have a problem, where everything is about finances right now, and I get it. But I think we're missing, for example, with everything that's going on in the world right now, Nancy, I hear interviews by Nina Simone, and she says this, an artist's duty is to reflect the times that they're living in. Wow.
Yeah, but that's so true.
Thank you.
And that's why we dig also into archival material, because there's a lot about history that we don't know, but we will know through the songs that were recorded at that time. So now, for example, there's a war happening and all of this, and people are a bit frustrated, and musicians, they don't feel inspired, and sometimes they don't feel like they need to, it's not appropriate to make music now. However, I think we need to document our emotions also.
But see, that's the point. When someone like Nina Simone says, reflect the times. Reflect the time, meaning, ايش يعني? Mean reflect the time. The time is going on, reflected. This is a duty. She says the word duty. So wajib, right? And I don't think a lot of people, like, I think we're disconnected from earth. We're disconnected from the essence. We're disconnected from other things. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a duty to go listen to Nancy Mounir right now. Man, this is incredible. We're going to take a short break right now. But I want to play, is it a Brazilian song? Nancy, tell me, what's it called?
It's called Na Boca do Sol.
Okay, and why is this song so special? You heard
it has the most beautiful bass line at the beginning, and it's a very nice song. Okay. And it kept me together in a difficult year. Okay. But I had to have like my dose of this song almost every day.
Wow. See, that's amazing. So let's listen to that, and we're going to be right back. We're talking up next about, of course, the Sharjah Art Foundation and the event, and all that. We're digging deep into that. We're gonna be right back, you guys. Keeping it locked. Pulse 95 Radio.
Catch a vibe
The
with
bass.
Big Hass. Only on Pulse. Pulse 95. Pulse.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Pulse 95 Radio. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can tell that our guest Nancy Mounir is vibing with this. We just heard this, Na Boca do Sol. This is the first time I'm hearing it as well. Okay, so this song kept you kind of together for like a year or so, right?
Yeah.
Wow, love that. Nancy, you are here in obviously in Sharjah because of this beautiful event, performance of Nuzhat al-Nufus, Promenade of Souls by Nancy Mounir. Tell me a little bit about that, and I want you to talk to me about obviously your relationship with Hassan Hijeri, with the Sharjah Art Foundation right now. How important is it? So tell me about the event first, and we'll talk about Sharjah Art Foundation. But what can people expect from this event?
They can expect a promenade, like a journey.
I love that.
And yeah, it reflects also on, like, you will see archival material and also like us going through archives and songs and things like that. It's very emotional to be playing with Mounir al-Mahdiya. I also always like to feel that we're playing with them and that their presence also is in the space and the place. And
Does it make, when we talk about Sharjah, we talk about the cultural capital of the UAE, we talk about the cultural capital of the Islamic region at one point, obviously. Does it make sense that this is something that's played in Sharjah, like to you, when you talk about history? Like for me, it makes sense because I live in Sharjah and I love Sharjah, and this kind of sort of what the Sharjah Art Foundation is doing is incredible. It makes sense.
I've heard a lot about the Sharjah Art Foundation, but it's my first time here.
Bless.
It's my first time in Sharjah.
It's your first time?
In Sharjah, yes.
Big round of applause.
So
amazing.
Thank you, Hassan, for inviting us.
Shout out to Hassan Hijeri, of course, and the Sharjah Art Foundation. They're doing incredible work. Okay, so let's say I have no idea what, Arabic music is, and I'm just going in. What can I expect other than obviously the archival?
Stories.
Okay.
Stories and music and
okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to understand Arabic.
No, there's gonna be subtitles.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the way you prepared for this show? She's smiling right now. Like obviously that's one of the challenges, I guess, in terms of like take me through the preparation of before a show like that.
The preparation, okay. So as I told you, I worked a lot with Layla Solomon, the theater director, and I learned also a lot about dramaturgy, but I also always felt like if you're arranging a song, you're kind of telling a story, right? So
correct.
So yeah, and I was kind of practicing this and learning about it through my experience with theater. So the performance is not a theater play, and it's not a concert. It's something in between. So we have also two readers, actors going through the archives and like showing us things. And reading from, we're gonna also read from the diaries of Fatma Sirri.
Oh God.
She wrote her diaries in 1926. It was published in Majalat al-Masrah. And it was a big story. You need to come to learn about that story.
For me, this is insane. How important, it's a general question, how important is for people generally to connect with their heritage and history? Because I think this is something that, you're very passionate about, obviously.
Yeah, it's the thing is, when I heard this song, for example, which is Saktelak, I knew that there was something wrong. There is a big catastrophe or there is a problem. And I wanted to know what happened. And I worked with two researchers. And then we tried to find a lot of things around this era, like even contracts between actors and operas, like when they were doing operas and theater. Wow. So I also learned about the connection between Mounir al-Mahdiya and Fatma Sirri. They were trying to do something together, and they were like a shilla, like basically a bit like us.
Wow.
Also very similar to the fact that they had the 1919 revolution, and then also this was happening afterwards and during. So it was very interesting to go through Egypt 100 years ago and trying to find these connections.
Wow.
And,
If someone would say that, hey, Nancy, I'm inspired, I want you to dig deep in other countries right now.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do so?
I did this in Sulh. So I was very curious about Zor in Egypt, and I played with Mazahir, also in Dina Lodi's record, and in other contexts as well. And I love them so much because they do something that is very unique, and it's not gonna it's not passed on
I was gonna say that.
because their children want to do other stuff.
And last question is, for me, does this, like an actor, when he or she is acting, the character affects them. Does this affect you in any shape, way, or form, what you're listening to, like the music itself? Does it impact you?
Of course.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I think having a lot of stories unfold, and it's the same kind of curiosity that we would have, like watching some series or something, but you're really curious and doing this physically in the real world and
crazy. Man, oh man, it feels like we definitely need another session. But how can people follow you? Like, are you on? What's the best way to connect with you?
Instagram, maybe.
Instagram, okay.
Yeah.
Which is what is your Instagram again? Is Nancy Mounir?
Mounir Nancy. No, that's the email. I don't know. I'm not really good at these
Mounir
things.
Nancy,
you're gonna find the cat pictures mostly and nothing serious. But
you'll find that. But good luck on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
For more
you.
information, Sharjah
so
Art, definitely.org. For more information there. Nancy, I want to end with one song that is really, really old. Whatever it is that you feel, whatever it is that you can share with us, we'll end with that. What would it be?
Maybe we can have Ana في انتظارك.
Okay.
It says on YouTube that it's Mary Gubran, but there is a debate that it's Zakiya Hamdan.
Okay.
But I mean, this version of the song is the best.
It's the best.
Much better than Kulthum's version.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. She said it. You heard it right here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on a new episode. But Nancy Mounir, thank you so much for being who you are, and thank you so much for blessing me. Any last words you'd like to say? Anyone? Any shout out? Anything at all? Anything at all.
I want to say thank you, and I
Bless
want to
you.
say thank you to Hassan and
Shout out
the
to Hassan.
Sharjah Art Foundation, and thank you for the lovely conversation.
I had a blast. Definitely shout out to the Sharjah Art Foundation, really, and shout out to you. I would say this: go out and buy Nuzhat al-Nufus from Bandcamp. I think Bandcamp is incredible. Obviously it's there, and Bandcamp, obviously you can buy, you can put the whatever it is.
There will be vinyls soon also, hopefully.
Save me a copy. Yeah. I'm definitely buying that for sure. We love you guys. We salute you. We're taking you really, really back right now. Thank you so much again, Nancy Mounir. Peace, love, and blessings. And we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Nancy.